Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Fateless podcast episode. Joining me from the Fateless team is going to be Sham and Simon. And then we are joined by a special guest in Dom. How you doing, Dom? Go ahead and let people know a little bit about your gaming history and introduce yourself, please.
Hey Brad, yeah, I'm Dom, as you just said. I basically have been playing Raid for about 4.5 years now, and I'm the leader of the Total Teamwork cluster in there. And in that portfolio, I also got asked by Susie to join you on the podcast today. Yeah, basically we're going to discuss in here we're going to discuss like clans and clusters, etc. And me being a cluster leader, I was asked by Susie to join you, and I was asked to present some ideas, etc., and general ideas about how the community thinks about clans and clusters, and how to maybe integrate them in games in general, but also, of course, in Godforge. So that's what brings
Okay,
me here. Awesome.
cool. And then a little bit of background on the cluster. How many clans? How long you've been doing it? Because I've also ran a cluster in Raid as well, so it'd be fun to get your perspective on kind of like the scope of it.
Okay. Yeah, we started Total Teamwork just with a single clan, and eventually, in our top area, it was like 22 clans. So we had about 1K people in our Discord. And nowadays, we run a little bit slower, 13, 14 clans, but we still have like 900 active people in the Discord. So, yeah.
It's very cool.
That's very
Huge.
cool. I mean, that's an insane amount of work, honestly. Like that. Yeah, I've run clusters and stuff when we kind of like got into new games. Certainly when we went into like Eternal Evolution, and we kind of went quite hard into that. And I think we had a similar number of clans, but I didn't do all the running of it. I got to say, like it was a lot of effort.
Yeah, that's
do
true.
you you end up doing all the work? I mean, of course, not all the work, but
no,
yeah.
absolutely not all the work. I definitely have an admin team around me. Yeah, basically we have basically server management and cluster management. The cluster management basically handles the cluster like on an all-to-day basis with like people joining and leaving, and making sure they like different clans in the cluster do what they're supposed to do in terms of like goals they have and that kind of stuff. And I basically generally oversee it a little bit and do also work on the Discord, etc. That's basically like
give me the day-to-day of like, so I've done clusters, but it was like for World of Warcraft, and then I've been a part of clusters for like, Watcher, and for Raid, for relatively small clusters, I would say. I don't know, I guess they weren't that small. But talk to me about what your day-to-day is, how you guys are gathering data, how you guys are trying to understand what your teammates, your clanmates, I guess guildmates are doing. What's your day-to-day look like? Yeah.
Yeah, basically what the day-to-day look like, especially like in the cluster stuff, because most of our team obviously has jobs or like studies as well. So we have to share what we are doing, etc., between all the management members. But we try to be as democratic in our decisions, etc., as possible. So in day-to-day basis, we try to get information. We're just talking to people like a main chat, and we have also like suggestions.
Now what does that look like? Now hold on, I heard democratic. Now I'm interested. So how do decisions? Okay, let's hear this. How do the decisions get made?
So basically, the general idea, if we get like suggestions, etc., we discuss them in management first. Then we get to vote in management, and if there's like really solid arguments why we shouldn't do something, for example, why it should be like look really bad for the cluster in terms of our name, or if it like is not appropriate, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, then we reject it instantly. But if like a majority of our management team thinks like that's a good idea, we then put it forward to the leadership, the rest of the leadership of the cluster. So we differentiate between leadership and management. Leadership is basically like all the clan deputies and clan leaders, as it is with Raid. And management is people that actually have the specific position of management in our Discord server. So most of them are also like leaders and deputies, etc., in the cluster themselves as well. But that's basically like the difference between them.
So it's very much managed though in the Discord server. So you do the management of your company in a sense. That way. How many management positions do you guys have currently? Who's in there, but
that has varied quite a lot over time, to be honest. Currently, we have 7 people in. Some less active than others because also of real life stuff, etc., and like illnesses and whatever. But yeah, I think that the top days we had like 12 to 15 people in management, and some also less active than others, obviously. But yeah, that's basically.
When you first set up your kind of cluster, or I guess started to go into the realm of doing clusters rather than just managing a clan.
Yeah.
What was your goals? What were you thinking? This is the reason we are in this direction.
Being fully honest, there was not really a reason. We just started as a clan, and then the clan at some point just had 30 members.
Yeah.
And then more people kept applying, and we just made a second clan and kept growing.
So it just spiraled from there. So you weren't thinking, this group, we want to be kind of like, I don't know, active in PvP, and this group is kind of, more chilled, and you didn't have that in your mind. It was more just a case of, it just grew and grew, and before you knew it, you had 1,000 people in a Discord, and
no, not like that. At first, we grew until like we had like 300 members, 5-6 clans, and at that point, we started shifting a little bit like focus. We started to split our server into an academy and like our main cluster. And we split the Discord up a little bit as well, because then our coaches could focus more on, for example, new people to the game. We called that our academy, as you said. And we had some clans in the academy and some clans we had in our main part of the cluster. That's how we did it.
How do you break people down, I guess? Like in my mind, what's helpful about a clan usually is that when someone new comes in, maybe they don't understand everything about the way this boss works or the way that, they should be gearing or whatever it is. There's a lot of help, in that way. Do you have like requirements for kind of moving up and being a helper, or how does that structure work? And is it all self-facilitated through Discord?
Most of it is indeed facilitated through Discord, although most of our clans also are like at least decently active in the in-game chats and channels. But like the decision making, let's say it like that happens basically on the Discord. But in terms of like how people grow, we differentiate at first based on clan boss. And when CVC etc. Came a thing, also that came into account, obviously, if people were interested, yes and no, and then Hydra came in. So basically, it's like the more content we kept putting out, the more we started to differentiate between, like what people are interested in and what directions you would go. We also had some failures because we wanted to have an actual top clan, and there was mistakes made there, and then the top clan got dissolved and people left because of that. But yeah, mistakes made, but the only thing we can do is learn from them and make sure they don't happen in the future again. So we try to do that.
Yeah, I'm curious to get your take on this as well, Brad. I know that obviously you've managed big clusters as well, and they've kind of evolved. Did you ever sort of set out to be, we're going to try and take the #1 spot on this game, or was it just similar to what Dom's had here, where it's just like natural evolution of numbers?
I always kind of view things very macro, big picture, and I love being part of teams and running teams. So that was always my goal. The way that we set it up, Dom, for our cluster and raid was I come from a sports background, and so the way that I did it was kind of like American baseball. I wanted like our major league team, and then I wanted teams like in the minor leagues that feed into that team as players do well and get promoted. So we had like a major league team, AAA, AA, single A, but then it kept growing. So eventually we had like academy, community, and we just kept adding.
You had like little league.
We just kept. We eventually got up to like 30 something teams in our cluster over the years, with me streaming and people wanting to join and stuff. But very, very similar setup to yours. But it's funny because trying to be democratic is great, but it gets very difficult sometimes. There's so much drama. Like, me and Darth Micro and Veiled Shot, we were running one of the best teams in Diablo Immortal. And one of our teams, we had a cluster. One of our teams is like, they call us into Discord, and half of them are like, we want Simon to be the leader of our clan, and if he's not, we're leaving. The other half is like, we want Sham to be the leader of our clan, and if he's not, we're leaving. So we had like this civil war, and it's like, okay, now we have to decide, like, okay, who do we select as the leader? So whenever you have like hundreds and thousands of people, there's going to be drama, there's going to be disagreements, and it gets very difficult. I'm sure you've had to deal with that some, Dom.
Yeah, we had to deal with it actually recently. One of our own clan leaders had basically a little bit different views on stuff, and he was a little bit less democratic in his like leadership, and he tried to push his own decisions a little bit. I mean, I love the guy still. I still have contact with him, but we eventually, because of all the disagreements, we had to let that guy and also his clan actually leave the cluster because of that. Always there is like some kind of drama. Not everybody has the same opinions on everything, obviously. So there will always be like some difference of opinion, etc. So when that happens, you have to decide whether to give both sides a little bit in terms of like what they want, or to just go with one side. And you have also to take into account what would be best for the cluster in your opinion, and how your management thinks about it. Like there's a lot of things that they have to be taken into account. So sometimes it gets quite difficult indeed.
Right, I had a situation actually. I don't know. It was like a couple of years ago when I was in a clan, I was still trying to vie for being in clans which are really, top tier for raid, and I'm probably not there anymore. But at the time, there was this kind of like scandal that went around about people cheating in arena, and I'm very black and white about this. I'm very openly, I will say, I hate cheating in games, and I would never do it. Like that's my stance, 100%. And anyway, so this guy who was in my clan was accused of cheating, and he did cheat, and he won like Plat Arena through like the old kind of like someone boosts your account type of thing.
And
I was like, guys, I cannot be in a clan with this guy because it basically just ridicules everything I stand for. So I was just like, look, I'm going to leave, and no hard feelings type of thing, but it's just not for me. And in the end, it was just kind of like, and I didn't mean to cause a drama, but it was like this. They were like, well, hold on a minute, because we don't know if we want this guy in.
We don't want him here.
Yeah. And it's like, and then they're like, do we want this guy? He's a good player, but he's decided to cheat in this situation. It's like, do we want him anyway? And then it kind of like this whole rip in the plan around, well, where do we stand when other people are actively doing this kind of like cheat mechanic anyway? Yeah. And anyway, this guy ended up leaving and he went to somewhere else. But it was just this, because I'm obviously public facing, and it blows up, as Brad would know, it blows up 100 times bigger when when it then comes back to you to say, well, hold on a minute, why do you associate with this person if you're so clearly against cheating? So yes, some of these like say these dramas, they blow up out of nowhere, and I'd imagine from a cluster leader position, it's pretty difficult to deal with, actually.
Yeah, sometimes even like 3 months ago, I literally have been thinking about quitting myself because of that reason.
Oh, really?
But, I always come back because like I have the feeling like I haven't been there since the start, and it's like my baby the cluster in some ways or forms. So I don't want to like leave it and like you see other people not to maybe people are great and actually do exactly what the cluster needs, but I have no control about it anymore then. And as it is kind of my baby in some way or forms, it's really difficult to leave it behind in that form. So that's my stance on it.
I guess we should move on. It'd be good to understand what we've seen in other games, or what you, certainly from your perspective, Don, but others as well, Brad as well, I'd like to get your view on this. What we've seen in other games, which is a really great system of, making clans work together, common goals, actually feel like you're a team that's working towards something, and perhaps where it's lacking in this genre at the moment. And I'd love to get some thoughts for what obviously we're building at Godforge. So Dom, I don't know if you've got anything to sort of kick that off, or
to be honest, the only game in the genre that actually fully play hardcore is Raid at this point.
Okay.
But I did actually gather some intel basically from other people as well. I did ask around a little bit. And what people really love to see is like that being in a cluster, etc., or in a clan, it should boost your willingness to play the game in some form. But also, it should not give you like unfair advantages against solo players. So it's like a middle line that being in a cluster should not give you too much advantage, or in a clan, but also the advantage.
Wait, hold on. Quick pause on that one though, because I'm gonna question that a little bit. So you're saying that being in a clan does not give you an advantage against a player that's not in a clan in any of these games?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it shouldn't give you too much of an advantage that if you're on a cluster or clan, you can progress so much faster that solo players basically don't have a chance of playing the game anymore against the people that are on clan or cluster. That's what I'm trying to point. That's like a really delicate balance in some ways, in my opinion. And if you break that balance, it kind of ruins the game for people who are not in a clan or cluster. And in my opinion, people should have a free choice in that to either join a clan or cluster and should not be forced. That's what I think about it. But I have also heard people who thought like, maybe there's an idea to actually really hardcore push people to join like a clan or cluster in some ways or forms. So that
just on that point, I would say any game that I've played that I've really enjoyed outside of this genre, and so not just in this genre, but any game that I played that I really enjoyed, there's been an element of I've been in a clan or a group of some sort, and it's just made me come back more and more because I've really enjoyed the people that I'm playing with. So if I think games that I've played for a long time, World of Warcraft, probably played that for like 2 years longer than I should have done because I really liked the people that I was playing with. Clash of Clans, similar really. Like I probably was done with Clash of Clans, but I was decent in wars and I really liked my group. And I'd be coming back on for the wars. Probably again, a year after I would have stopped playing because I really liked the group that I was with. And I think there's something in gaming generally that if you play it purely solo, well, I just don't think you play as long. I don't think you enjoy it as much. So
I do get your point. It's also not this genre. I think the thing that I would push back on that is that like I think if you just really look at it, it's almost so for a certain level of player, it's no problem, right? If you're free to play, you just want to progress, you just want to gather characters, you can go solo, no problem, right? You'll do okay.
But you do miss out on a lot of stuff, right? Because
you miss a lot. Like it's very significant. You're not going to progress anywhere near the same level. And I'm not talking about just raid. This is any of these games, right? But if you're talking about like even mid high, or even like elite level player, someone who wants to compete at the highest level, you're not even close. It's not viable in any way, shape, or form. Literally, I would say mostly impossible unless you want to just shell out,
No, I agree to what you say. Yeah, exactly. I agree to what you both say. The thing what I was trying to point out is that it should not give you like an unfair advantage if you're on a cluster or clan. Like people that are playing solo, yes, there's massive advantages to if you're in a clan or cluster. That's why I obviously try to lead a cluster. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. If you are solo, I think people that are playing solo, they probably made a decision for a reason, and they should not be like. It should not be unfair for them that they can't progress as fast or like as good as like people in a cluster clan can. Obviously, people in a cluster clan will be able to progress faster or further because they are in a cluster of clan. They get help from all the people in there. There's a community feeling, and mostly there's a lot of knowledge in those clusters and clans as well. Most of the time in most games. So in that way, they will definitely progress faster. But what I think is they should not be like in-game built-in advantages for cluster clans that are like too much of a roadblock for people that are not into cluster of clans to be able to progress properly. That's
so what I'm hearing then, and I think I agree with this, is that you would like as even as a clan leader, cluster leader, you wouldn't want to have it so that there was something that was completely exclusive to having to be in a clan. Maybe that's kind of like the short, because there's almost no way that you can incentivize a feature in a game and not give advantage, right? Period.
True. Yeah. I agree with what you say. Yeah. And basically, the idea is that yes, definitely there can be features in like clusters and clans that are like only for clusters and clans, but in my opinion, they should not give you such a big advantage.
Outsized advantage. Maybe,
exactly. Like
And would you pitch that Raid then? As a game that you play the most, do you think that does give an outside advantage currently for being in a clan? Bearing in mind, you get clan boss rewards daily.
Exactly.
Clan versus clan, tons of rewards every 2 weeks. Siege now, rewards if you win, I guess. But
exactly. Especially with the content they keep pushing out that is clan
Hydra, some of the best rewards you can earn. So I would say it now with 4 features which give at least fortnightly rewards, but actually most of them way more regular than that. Going by what you were saying there, it would have
significant.
Yeah, it's significantly different if you're in a clan versus not right now.
Yeah, I fully agree to it. It is indeed significantly different, and that it's also, as I said, why I'm a cluster leader, because there is this
it's a big benefit, right?
Exactly.
Well, and by the way, it's actually a really big benefit to the game and all its players, right? I think the big thing, I think that's what Simon was kind of saying, is that, you know, the reality is games run on incentives, right? You are incentivized to do something. If there's no reason to go do something, no players are going to do it. Eventually, everyone will kind of stop doing it, right? So incentivizing players to stay, retaining players and keeping them and having them excited about new stuff that's coming out and playing with their friends and doing cool stuff. It's good for the health of the whole game, not just for the clusters and for the people that are playing in those clusters, but also for people that have decided to be solo. Like if for whatever reason you're like, you know what, I'm a lone wolf, I want to run through this game, I want to, you know, I don't want to rely on clan boss. I'm no interest in doing that. Can you hit clan boss without in raid?
No.
Okay. I don't even want to try that kind. It's boring. That's not interesting. I don't want to try Hydra. I don't want to try any of these things. For whatever reason, I want to do that. It's still good for you to have people in the game that are interested in playing, because they're going to be talking about what's going on. So you're going to get guides on information on characters. They're going to be testing stuff on the viability of those characters. You're going to have people to play against in PvP. So that it's like you have to incentivize, right? It just has to be incentivized. So you know, but I think I get what you were saying. You were saying like you just can't make it feel super unfair. But I think I think we want people to feel like it's not about being unfair. We want people to feel like, hey, this is cool, this is fun. I want to be a part of something.
Yeah, because we're talking about, I mean, goes a little bit off the track here, but we're talking about having a better system in terms of in-game communication. And you know, one of those elements could be, Dom, show me your build for, you know, this hero, and literally you press something on your character screen and it pings it into your clan chat or into your cluster chat. And actually what that does is it shows you a detailed view of that build.
A little packet of data that says like, here's the character.
Yeah, so it's like, bam, this is what he's wearing.
Imagine if that actually was the case. Imagine if it was the case.
That's what we're looking to do.
So we're imagining.
And
exactly.
You know, not just clan, but cluster chat. So we want to be able to, you know, for someone like yourself that's got multiple clans, and you've got this kind of like hierarchy type of thing going on. Firstly, for that cluster to have a space where they all communicate, so that it feels like you're part of something bigger. But then also, and it's part of something bigger, but in like a safe space, rather than being on, you know, the kind of like the world servers where you just get spammed all the time with bots and all that type of stuff. So you've got this like this area where you can actually communicate. You know, you can plan for different events that are going on in game, but also like you might have a leadership part of that chat where it's like, right, guys, we need to do some changes. So, you know, this person from clan 3 needs to get demoted because he's not hitting siege or whatever. Like, so having like a lot of the functions, I guess, which you're doing in Discord, we bring into game. Probably not to the same level of Discord, honestly, because I don't know how that might be like a step further than what we can do, but certainly allow some of that organization and conversation and all that type of stuff happen in game rather than always happening on this kind of like external app.
Yeah, I fully agree to that, because for example, I will come back to Raid obviously now, because that's the game I mostly play, but in Raid you just have a clan chat and you have like global chat, and in the clan chat you have like clan leads, clan deputies, and you have the new role. I've even forgot its name because that's how interesting it is.
Yep.
So what they can do, they can accept new members, they can demote members to like a lower rank, and basically not much more. But to be effective in terms of management, but also in communication, is kind of essential for like leadership of clans and clusters. That they have the tools to be able to do so. Make those decisions, to organize, and that will also enhance the gameplay, because people will be in like a smooth organization, and like stuff goes smoother. So that's kind of a must for games that want to include like a good feature that like features like clans and clusters. Because if they don't, like Raid is lacking, for example, a little bit, then you're kind of forced to go to other platforms like Discord, if you want to host a community. And yeah, that it would be really cool if in Godforge that would not have been necessary.
What's your like wish list? Like if you're saying cool features, what are the things like, I mean, and don't be shy if you're like, if you're like, we want to have all these, something that's super crazy, they can't be implemented, no worries. But we'd love to hear, like, as a cluster leader of a relatively big cluster, what would you want? What are the things that would be like, man, this would really move the needle for me in moving people around and whatever. What would you want?
Okay. What for me is really important is that there is a connection between multiple clans, because obviously I'm a cluster leader, and it's really an issue if you want to actually not use platforms like Discord to communicate between clans in a game like Raid. It's basically not even possible. The only reason, the only way I could think of it being possible is you can send a message when you're applying to a new clan. So you would have like people as messengers run around, people send it like message, like it's a mess. It's almost impossible. So that's a really big thing if you're able as a cluster to somehow join clan chats together, or like be able to, for example, management to join all the clan chats if you have cluster management. That's really a must for me.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's something as well, just listening to what you're saying there, in, as a clan leader or cluster leader, just being able to send a message out to an internal mailbox, in-game mailbox is literally like, I don't know, plan 1, your duty is this, whatever it is, but rather than kind of again
attack this group or whatever it is.
Send it as like a mail that needs to be open, so that I guess it incentivizes people to actually action some of the stuff you're doing, because sometimes it's really difficult just to communicate basic information in these games. I'm pretty sure some of these games do have that type of system, but I don't. Have we seen that as a good tool or more like a frustrating tool?
Yeah, I think, for example, if you use things like Discord, you basically are able to ping people because people have roles. I don't say that should be implemented in like a game like Godforge as well, but it would be a cool thing if you, for example, could kind of ping a clan, for example, in like the clan chat to get their attention, and then like. So basically, you could create like an announcement, so basically similar to how it is on Discord. Like that would be really handy, I think, because that gets people attention, and then it stands out from normal messages in some ways. That maybe that's an idea.
How about hierarchy and kind of like within the base systems. So like right now, like you said, there's only a couple of different roles. Do you have what would help if you imagine you have a cluster and you're at the top of this cluster and you want to communicate with the different clans? What would you want to be able to do to communicate with them, right? So I'm picturing in my head, like you said, in Discord, you can say, oh, well, I've got clan leader, cluster clan, this clan leader is a role essentially. I can just like ping a role. Is that what you would want to do? Or is it, I want to have another chat that's only for clan leaders, or I want like what are the things, again, like this is like feature list basically. We want to hear what would be the most helpful to you guys.
I think both things you just pointed out were actually really helpful, because the games like Raid offer no exclusive communication between leadership in any way or form, because clusters are basically in Raid, they're just non-existent in terms of the actual game itself. Clusters are like a construct that's outside the game itself, and it is a combination of clans. And if you could somehow bring that in the game, that clusters are a thing, that's already a huge thing. And what that would implement basically is also, if you have like a lot of clans, if a cluster leader could actually have like basically a role, so he would be able to communicate with all those clans at the same time. That's already a really great thing. But also if those clans, for example, could be combined into like a cluster something. I don't know how obviously how it's going to look like, but if they are able to combine that, that the leadership can also put messages to them separately, but also as a whole, basically like an announcement. That's a really good thing. But also what you just mentioned, that leadership can discuss things internally so that nobody can read it. Those I think are like two really big things that should be added if possible, obviously.
And I guess my other question would be like, if that existed, and Discord does exist as it does, would you use the in-game? Would you use that in-game communication over a Discord, assuming it was relatively simple to do?
Yeah, obviously with Discord, there's always the trouble of people that are actually in game that do not have Discord or don't want to join Discord, etc. So depending on how many of those people a clan or cluster has, it could really be like it could be a really good choice to then actually, if the tools are there, to actually host the cluster in the game itself, because then you are able to reach out to all people instead of just the people who joined your Discord. I mean, in a lot of like higher-end clusters and clans, that is not that much of an issue, but in like smaller communities, like just clans or like clans who like combined with another clan, so to form like a mini cluster, I have heard a lot of similar issues like this. A lot of people just don't have Discord, or like, even if they're using tools like TeamSpeak, if it even exists still, like
TeamSpeak, there you go.
Imagine.
Yeah. but I guess you'd still have people using both. Like you say, that the benefit would be for those people that are just in the clan, they don't really know a lot of the other people that are around, or they're very casual gamers. You want for that system to make some sense. But then for people that want to just get more organized, so it's like, we're sharing spreadsheets, we're sharing this, all of that will still go on, I think, in a Discord, because it's just a great platform to be able to share all of those extra things.
We love you, Discord.
I'm interested. So we talked a lot about organization so far. Maybe we go to Brad. Like, in terms of bringing the fun, right? So how do we make sure that clans, clusters, etc., actually bring more fun to the game? Like, do you have ideas of the sort of things that you'd like to see that help you interact as a group, and why that would be more fun for the player?
Sure. Yeah. I think recognition, automatic pings that get clan talking. So like, I know one of the coolest features, I ran one of the better clans in Diablo 3, and in Diablo 3 there's primal legendary drops. So basically what it is 1 in every 400 legendaries that drop is a primal legendary. And what the game would do is it would automatically send it out as a mass message, like, Chosen just dropped a primal Yang's recurve bow. And then you get the whole clan clicking on it to look at it, like, wait, what did it roll? Dude, that rolled 10 CDR. Are you kidding me? You see the bow Chosen got? And so like those kind of like automatic recognition moments. So it'd be something like in Raid, every time you roll a quad piece on a piece of gear, it sends it to the clan. And then people click on it like, oh, dude, quad crit damage. Look at that. Like, holy crap, nice boots. So moments like that, or, somebody finishes in Gold Arena for the first time. It sends out a message. Hey, Sham just finished in Gold Arena for the first time ever in PvP. You get the whole clan going, hey, good job,
so relating that back to what we're already doing, because we've got this mastery system where it is a case of you can find some really cool, and they're not unique because anyone can find them, but they're hard to track down because it's unknown, certainly from when we start the game. Are you thinking that type of thing? Because obviously we see in these games, someone got this legendary and this one in terms of heroes, and
and you're like, wow,
it's so common.
It can't be spammed. It cannot, because then people ignore it. Like pop-ups in Raid, when you log into the game and it has 12 pop-ups, you don't even read them. You just close them. So like, there can definitely be death by just spam. So it's got to be super
like
rare.
Key moments.
Yeah. Like Diablo 3 did it right. It's 1 in every 400 legendaries. It would send out a message. So you actually clicked on it. You're like, wait, what happened? But if it was just ping, 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 then no one would care.
Yeah, that's interesting. Dom, have you got any ideas around same sort of question? Bringing the fun?
Well, I think a really fun feature what some games are missing, for example, Raid, is also boost player engagement. I have a lot of players that want to, in their own clan, fight their teammates,
Sure.
for example, arena teams. And that is just not a feature. You literally have to find your own team members in an arena to be able to do that. It's just not an option. And it would be so fun to be able to do that, because then you can test builds, you can like have fun contests within a cluster, for example, via chat. Like, that brings so many options as well. And it's just not there, which is a shame, to be honest.
Yeah, because we're talking about taking it potentially. So a 1v1 is fun, and if you've played games like Clash Royale, you can watch back someone else's 1v1 if they present it in their chat, which is fun. So it's like clan leader versus the newbie sort of thing. Could be quite fun, as your initiation into the clan, which would be cool. New person in the clan, can they take down the leader? That would be quite a fun little challenge. But also, if you want to do like a clan tournament of, okay, we're going to invite 16 of our clan members into this tournament. Guys, you're only allowed to use epics, and that's like a restriction on the tournament. And we each battle each other. There's a leaderboard type of vibe.
I mean, for certain clusters, that could be like how they decide who their leaders are. Be like, you know what, guys?
Yeah.
It's
but
been
also
decided.
Just like bragging rights, isn't it? It's just like, if you've done your daily chores in the game, and you're kind of like, right, now we've got some smack talk going, because now the real event begins. We're gonna battle it out on this kind of like tournament, which we've arranged ourselves for our clan. That type of idea.
Because you're collecting these heroes. I mean, like that's, like the thing I went back when you were a kid. This is all just like going nostalgia stuff, right? Going back to when you were a kid and you had your you got your new toy, your new like action figure, and you wanted to go. You don't want to just hold the action figure and play with it. You want to go tell your buddy why his Batman's gonna kick the ass of your Superman. Like, because listen, have you seen all this kid I've got? Have you seen the Batmobile? Like, dude, there's no way that your Superman's gonna do anything. Like, get out of here. That's what like. If I'm honest, that's a lot of what at least PvP is in those moments, right? Obviously, you want to be the best and you want to win, and that's almost like its own like thing.
Yeah.
But within the clan, like to bring the fun, like you're talking about, it is about that bragging rights and the trash talk. So, do you guys? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's extremely important. I'm glad you brought up like the friendly matches and the replays and stuff like that. I remember when Blizzard flew me out to try Warcraft Rumble internally.
Yeah.
I was very alarmed when I saw it, because they did not have replays or the ability to watch your matches, your epic moments, to share it with your clan. And I remember when Clash Royale came out, they had that on launch, and Clash Royale ended up being 100 times bigger than Warcraft Rumble. And I think that's a main reason why. We've all had moments in games like Raid where, our Rotos just procced this extra turn 4 times and he wiped the whole team, like, and you want to share that with your clan. You want to be like, guys, look what just happened. I just clutched this arena moment. You have to be able to have those millions of interactions in your community, or else it's you're just missing out on so much engagement. So I'm really glad you brought that up, Dom.
And the tech can't be that difficult. I mean, Clash of Clans were doing this years ago. We're talking probably 10 years ago. I don't know. Maybe it's
more
not
than that, like 14.
Oh, was it? Right. There you go. So
I think so.
But to the point where if I'm going up against your base, it's still an async situation, right? So you've set up a defense, a base, and I'm trying to attack it. So you're, as a defender, not doing anything. It's literally just me. But everybody in the chat of your group could watch your attack whilst you're doing it. It's not a case of, oh, we need to come back. Like you go in and fight someone's defense. It's like, right, Brad, I'm going to take your defense down. Post it up for me. I'm going to try and beat it. And then as I go in, the rest of the cluster or the clan literally just press to watch me fight it. And then they're smack talking as I'm making mistakes, or, if I'm destroying this base, they're like, damn, your defense is awful. Like, there's a whole kind of like chat that goes around it, but ultimately it's testing things and it's in the moment. So it's fun. It's just way more fun that way.
Exactly. That kind of functions, they just bring more fun to the community. And like, a community is not only built on like guides and people coming together, but as just was mentioned as well, it's also like people trash talking each other and like, I'm way better than you, and then try to get on my level. It's that kind of stuff. It's also like the fun stuff that holds the community together, not only like the serious stuff. So if that aspect can be brought into any game, it will not only make player retention way higher instantly, but also it will make enjoy the game more. So yeah, it's a really important feature indeed.
Simon, I'm glad you brought that up. I remember, you go into like a match and there was like a little icon on the top right of the screen and you can see like 7 people are watching me and you're just like,
that's it.
Oh
yeah.
God.
You're like,
You're sweating. You're like, you gotta do this, like, I don't know, this balloon fight where the timing is so crucial. And like, if you mess it up, you go from getting a 3-star to a 1-star really quick if you start messing stuff up, man.
And
it
always heightens it so much more. I can still remember the first time I played StarCraft in person, like at a LAN event. I can still remember like it was yesterday. I'm sitting here, I'm good to go, I'm ready to go. I'm about to have my match, and I can see people behind me just like grouping up, getting ready to watch. And I remember my right hand was shaking.
The pressure's on, right?
And I remember thinking in my head, I was like, I'm not going to be able to select my workers. Like, I'm not going to be able to play. and my match is like counting down. I'm like, I can't play. So it always heightens it so much more.
Yeah.
And did you win that match?
I think I ended up, once I'm like 30 seconds in, you settle in. And that LAN event, I ended up losing in the championship. So like, I made it decently far.
Still solid. Yeah.
But when you go, so obviously you've got this is the friendly match, I'm trying to beat your defense. But then actually when you're in that kind of like clan war situation, they've got the same feature. You can watch someone live and it's actually like, guys, I'm ready. I'm going to fight number 10. Right, 3, 2, 1, go type of thing. And then, if you've got an active clan, which is what I was in, you might have, like you say, Brad, 7, 8, 9, 10 people watching your battle for a couple of reasons, actually. One, they want to see how you're getting on and like cheer you on type of thing. But also, if you fail, they want to see where are the traps, what are we trying to deal with here? Yeah. And again, it's fun. Like in that instance, it's like, right, now I know how I can tackle this one in a slightly different way.
Right.
And I think some of those features, they just cross over so well into this type of genre because again, we're dealing with async defenses, which means that you're fighting something which is already planned.
Well, and by the way, like from a technical standpoint, it's just about planning. It's just about knowing what we want to do and what needs to happen. Because if we, you can build back in server architecture and data storage in many different ways. There's a million different ways to build it. And there's 900,000 of them basically will make it so that this is really, really hard. But there's still a huge cluster of them where it's like, yeah, this is going to work. This is going to work. It's going to be easy for us to store the data. It's going to be something that people can like you said, hop in and watch other people play games. We just have to plan ahead for it, right? And by the way, that's what we're doing. That's kind of it's the game plan, right? It's always been the game plan.
Yeah, for sure. And I know we're getting close to kind of the point we gotta wrap up. But Dom, this has been great, and it's been awesome to get your perspectives as a cluster organizer. One thing we do like to ask on the way out is kind of a gut reaction between myths and legends and kind of the theme that our game is in. Is there anybody that you would like to see be a hero in our game? Is there anybody that stands out to you? We've had people like Drock say William Wallace from Braveheart. We've had people say Robin Hood. He's a super popular one.
For example.
Yeah. So
I would have said that.
Is there anybody that stands out to you personally?
Good question, to be honest. I would have to think about that, being fully honest. I'm really interested in Roman Greek mythology, like, the usual, obviously. But
it's okay. So, but who in Greek mythology? Who's your number one?
This is great. We like to get.
It's funny how
like
someone asks you a direct question about stuff that you absolutely know the answer to, and it's a direct question. It's like, I literally cannot remember a single person from Greek mythology in this moment. It's like it's so common that
he's like, Odin. No shit. Oh, that's not Odin's not.
What would be awesome to see is like some of the less known emperors from the Roman Empire. You have like the most common name, like Emperor Augustus, Julius Caesar, like those names everyone knows. But there are also some really interesting characters still out there who did a lot of stuff that are not that much well known. And there's a lot of names actually I could come up with at this point, but there's so much much choice in like mythologies.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Beauty, man. That's the beauty.
Okay.
All right, but so do we have one though? Do we have like I gotta hold you to. We need an answer here. This is a very important question.
Okay. I'm really interested in Marcus Aurelius.
Okay.
It's a
that's a good one. That's a good one. We definitely have not heard that one before.
Yeah,
Can't confirm or deny whether or not he's coming in the game, but I thought that's interesting.
Cool,
I like
cool
that.
direction actually. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Well, hey Dom, it's been a pleasure, and thanks for taking the time to join us. And all of you viewers, let us know down below in the comment section and also in Discord. What are your thoughts? What are some features that you would love to see in a clan and a cluster environment within Godforge? We always want to hear the more input, the better. So, Sham, Simon, Dom, thanks everybody. Cheers, and we will see you soon in the next Fateless podcast episode. Cheers.